Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Stroke Empowerment Podcast. My name is Letitia Living. I'm a survivor of 3 ischemic strokes and the author of Finding Yourself After Stroke. Today, I am joined by a special guest, Mr. Mark Harder, who is joining me from the United States. Mark is an ischemic stroke survivor, and post-stroke, he has aphasia, and he has done some amazing work in the post-stroke space, which I'm going to let him share all about with you. So welcome, Mark, and thank you for joining me today. So glad to have you on.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. And sorry, I have problems saying people's names. So, but thank you. Thank you for bringing me here to talk to you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's start a bit about pre-stroke, Mark. So a little bit about what we were chatting before. What was happening in your life prior to your stroke? What did your world look like, your lifestyle look like? What did your everyday world look like?
I was I was in construction, and I used to was a plaster apprentice coordinator. And so, but I would also would teach other instructors. So that so I was in Maryland, and I used to teach other instructors, and so and I was, you know, it was a new job. It was like 7 months into it, and everything was a little chaotic, a little bit, everything that we were doing. And so I would be there during the week, and I had an apartment, and I would come home on the weekend. So, but everything was was good. I was the top of my career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So quite busy.
Yes, I was. I would teach all around the U.S.
Oh, and did you enjoy that, or did you find it stressful?
No, I enjoyed it, but I just thought that there was there was a lot a lot of things that were going. A new job. We had to get a new. We were working on our boss's office, getting that done, and then our office. We were doing more and new programs,
Mm-hmm.
and so there was a lot of things were going on.
Yeah, and you enjoyed it, so that's
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were happy with life, and then what happened in the lead up to you having a stroke?
Well, I used to smoke, and I think that maybe that would, I kept thinking that I needed to stop. I definitely need to stop. My sister would always call me and tell me I should stop, and I start feeling it, and but I didn't realize how bad it was, or what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I should have known what could have happened. I definitely knew what could happen, but I was, I said, I should have went to. I knew that I needed to go to the doctor, but I thought that I can't go right now because there's too much going on right now.
Yeah. And so a bit too busy. And so what ended up happening? How did you end up having a stroke?
I It was during a a Thursday, and I was talking to my wife on the phone, and it was like about 11 o'clock at night, and to tell her, you know, have a good night, and I will see you or talk to you tomorrow. And I went to say good night, and then because I was in bed, and so I I went to try to turn off the lamp to go to sleep. So when I went to try to turn off the lamp, it was like I died. Not like I don't like I don't know what happened. Because I do remember what happened, but somewhere during the night or the morning, I felt some cramps, and then next I was trying to get to go to work, and I was worked with a colleague or a coworker, and I would he would I would call him if he was being late. If he was late, I would say it's okay. Just want to know if you're doing okay. And so I was always there first. Well, that day, he had to try to find me or call me, and he tried calling me. Uh, I didn't. I didn't know. I wasn't. I don't even remember it at all. If anybody was trying to call me or anything. And then, so he drove to my house, and by the time they got to me and took me to the hospital, it was 11 hours.
So for 11 hours, were you unconscious? Did you know that time was passing, or know that something had happened to you?
Also, I kept thinking that is I had to go to work, and
Oh.
uh,
Mhm.
uh, I would I would go to sleep. I guess I went to sleep again because I was so tired. I was half dressed. Uh, I thought that I was trying to get a shower. I don't know how I got to the bathroom. I don't think I went to the bathroom. I don't know what happened. Uh, but I thought I was in there. I remember I was near my bed again, and then at the living room, and that's where I was uh, when they finally had the uh, policeman uh, opened up my house. Uh, and when they did, there was two policemen and two uh, emergency people in my room, and I think they were asking me stuff, but I didn't. Uh, I don't. I don't know what I said. Uh, but all I was trying to say, like to me, I was like, I got to go to work.
Yeah. Well, thankfully your co-worker realized and raised the alarm and got you to medical emergency. So once you've got to hospital, and um, how did they discover that you'd had a stroke? Because it wasn't just a stroke, but I'll let you tell everybody
Okay.
what had happened.
Um, well, at that time, uh, my coworker called my wife, and so she had to drive uh, 3.5 hours to where I was, and I was, but I don't, I was in the emergency uh, and I don't know what happened. They say that I was trying to uh, res respond to what they were asking me. I have no idea. Nothing. What people were saying. I don't know what they were saying. I don't know what I was saying. I kept going to sleep again. I do remember when my wife got there, and one of my sons came too. Uh, I, I was not just, I was not really uh, in it. I didn't know actually was going on still. Um, the I do remember that the next day. Now it was this, yeah, it was the second day. 'Cause it was a Friday, and all my bosses and coworkers came to the hospital, and they brought me in two by two, and I didn't remember, but like all my bosses were there when they came. I told them all when they came. I said, uh, girl, you went girl. Everybody was a girl. Um, so I thought I was saying their names.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was still pretty much out of it. Uh, they in that emergency or in that hospital, they could not operate, or I had to get three three stints. Uh, it and they couldn't do it there, uh, and they were going to move me to a uh, different Maryland uh, hospital, but my my wife said that to bring me back to Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
to Jefferson there, and then so I was there uh, five 5 days in Maryland, another 5 days in uh, Philadelphia. They couldn't do the stits on me. They thought that I was going to have another stroke, so they were having a lot of medicine and stuff they were putting on. I was having.
Mm-hmm.
So so they then I was in a rehab for 10 days, uh, with only 1 day of speech therapy.
Oh,
Uh, uh, they were doing some physical and occupational, but only a couple times. Uh, I think they were afraid that I did too much, that I would, have another stroke. Uh,
yeah.
and
So
then,
you've had the
yeah,
stroke, but you also had a heart attack as well. Is that correct?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. I had a heart attack in my bed. That's what happened. And then the when I had the heart attack, uh, there was a clot, and that clot went to my brain.
So a heart attack and a stroke at the same
Yes,
time.
yes.
Yes. And um, and you were just saying that you were having some rehab, some physio and occupational therapy, but not a lot of speech therapy. So at that time, um, did they know, or did you know that you had aphasia?
Oh, yeah. Uh, I didn't realize. I didn't see the papers until, well, because I couldn't read for months. So when I finally was starting all the papers, so uh, they got the papers for the first day, that it said that I had about the about my heart, about the stroke, uh, which type it was. It's with an I. I can't.
Yeah.
Which do you know which one it is with an I?
Yeah. You had an
Can you help me
ischemic
there?
stroke. Ischemic stroke.
Yes,
Mhm.
ischemic. Yes, and then on that paper it said that I had aphasia, and that I had he it's like Hepianopolis, something like that. It both of my eyes are affected,
Mhm.
but just on the right side of my eyes.
I have that
So the
too.
left side of my, oh, you
Mhm.
have that,
I
really?
do. It's called hemianopia. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So and yeah, and I didn't even know I had that.
Mm. Oh, you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, did
so,
you were bumping into things?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, but and so I still bump into things because I have to remember that the right side of the world is still there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, you just mentioned before that just in the early days after your stroke, you weren't speaking, or did you say you weren't reading or writing as well?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I tried. Yeah.
Mhm. So tell us a bit about your aphasia recovery. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you've done some amazing work for the stroke community, which I hope we can talk about. So
Oh,
share a little bit about your aphasia recovery, and then we can talk about the great things that you've been doing.
thank you. I yeah, I couldn't read or write uh at all, and but uh I I I had therapy. It took a month before I had therapy, and then but uh my sister-in-law gave me a book. It's called Jesus Calling, and it's a, uh, a meditation book. So each day it has, you know, a a passage for each day, and I couldn't read it. Uh, my wife started reading it to me, uh, very very hard because I didn't really know what she was telling me about it. But uh, but my sister, no, my daughter, uh, she started working with me, and she, uh, you know, well, actually, I was working on the I learned how to do the computer again and everything. So myself on and so I would uh, type the message or the the Jesus Calling one each day. I would type it for each sentence, and then I would hear it say the word to me. Uh, that would take me like 3 hours to do that. Uh, but then but at night my daughter would uh, read the would read for me the message, and then I would have to say it. And she was a stickler. Uh, she an hour and a half at 1.5 hours each day to be able to say those words and it was just a little uh, 2 paragraphs, and she, I used to be her coach, and I was really hard with her. And when she started working with me, I was like, oh my, she's going to get me. She's going to get me back. But she was good. She helped me so much.
It's really great
So,
that your family were there to help
but
you with the having that therapy at
yes,
home and challenging you and doing that for
right.
hours on end and being repetitive with it and just making it
Yes,
happen.
yes. A lot of days of crying, and because, and I don't know why. I would, you know, I had three sons. They would help me, and I was crying, and it's like, this is like, why should I cry when I should be a strong man and not be crying like that. So, but but you know, things are getting better. But it took me. Uh, I kept trying to read again and write again, and when I wanted to write, I I uh, I thought when I was trying to write things, it seemed like they were like poems. Uh, so uh, it took. It was 2 years after my stroke that I wrote one poem, uh, and uh, it took me a long time. It was, but and I still, I need my wife or one of my kids to uh, make sure that I have uh, the, the tenses of the words and everything. Uh, they help me a lot with that. Usually now I'm getting better with that, but yeah, I started doing it. I put it, and I started putting things on Facebook, and I was not good. I had, if my boss wanted me to have a you should do stuff on Facebook, and I didn't want to do that. But when I uh, started writing again, and I thought that, I'm going to put my poems on there, and so it was, I just wanted to see if anybody else would think that uh, if they could relate what was going on, and because being like basically half blind, being I have pain and numbness at the same time. Uh, you know, uh, I keep my uh, balance is, it's like I'm on a ship, and sometimes I start, go a little bit, and so these are things I started to write about, and think about the things that about grief and loss, all, but I never asked why. I just, thought that I just, I just wanted to write or express myself, what was going on.
Yeah. And that started a journey, didn't it? Putting it out there and expressing what was happening for you and sharing your grief and loss and what was happening post stroke. And is this how Poems in Speech came about?
Yes, when the virus came, because I used to do a lot of uh, uh, support groups in person, and when it stopped, it was, you know nothing. There was nothing there. They started doing the support groups on Zoom and stuff, but it took a while. And so I thought that I I started advertising on Facebook if anybody would like to come and share a poem and say it out loud. And there was I think we were like 5 people, I think, first. But at the same, what happened was when I started getting into poetry, I looked into other people that had a stroke and then started doing poetry. And I bought a book for Sheila, and also Yvonne, and so I emailed both of them to see if they wanted to come, and because of the time, Yvonne can't, it's hard for her to do that, but after I think it was like the second time, Sheila came, and I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that she was coming. And she, and it was really nice to be there, and people sharing their poems. And we don't have like, 40 people, 20 people there, but we'll have about 10 or 12 people coming. But it won't be the same person. They'll be there, and then somebody else will be there, and they'll come back again. So there are people that they're there all the time, but it's nice, and we we like everybody that comes here, and we encourage everybody, and it's really it's incredible that that's what's happening.
I totally agree. And I've been on one of your Poems in Speech live events, and I can, from my own experience, it is such an empowering and inspiring group to be a part of. And I love that what you've created in that space. So can you let everybody know, where can they find you? Where can they find Poems in Speech, and how can they join if they're listening in?
Yeah, I missed you there, but yeah, there's Poems in Speech is going to be there was times when I just couldn't do it every week, but we're back into it now, and we didn't stop. We just maybe went like twice a month, but now it's every day. I mean, every week.
Every week, yes.
Yeah.
So how can people join Poems in Speech if they're listening and they're interested in becoming a part of your group?
Well, you can either email me at mark@poemsandspeech.com, or you could on Facebook, you could message me, and so any of those is fine. I do like using email a lot, because when people if they come and they share a poem, I like to put it on my screen so that everybody could see it. And because and that's like, for me, it's hard for me, somebody just reads their poem, it's hard for me to understand what the whole thing about what the poem is about. It's to see all the words and everything, it helps.
Yeah, definitely helps with the visual as well as the
Yeah.
audio, how we interpret and learn. Mark, you're doing something else that I found is pretty incredible too in the post-stroke world, especially for raising awareness and connecting people with aphasia. I noticed that you've got a conference. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes. When we, again, during the virus, uh, I, I was trying to write down all the support groups that they were doing online, wherever they're doing Zoom, and I wanted to, and so we were, I all the support groups. I finally called Jim. He does support group at Capital Health, and then Denise from Salus University, and then there was also Jen. She was at also at Salus, but and I asked them if they would want to work and to try to have a conference for people that have aphasia. I know there's all kinds of conferences for for uh, for therapists and everything, but we tried to get people together that have aphasia, and uh, you know, like I said, we tried to get them, to get everybody together and actually share the things that they're doing, and what's what is works, what doesn't, and or what might help somebody else. We try when we start working on this, we didn't know if we could do this in person, so we did a virtual one, and so we asked different support groups around our area, and we wanted a person with aphasia there to also to tell what they were doing there. But it's really it was really good. We had people from I think it was like 7 different either hospitals, universities, uh, rehab. Uh, so it was really nice. And then we were also had a get together, and we did this outside. It was at the at an amphitheater, and it was good. So we are going to work. We still do that. We've done it for our second time, and when uh, we also started doing a support group. So there's people that are from around our area, but we also people from different states come in there too. So, but it's we're working on a lot of other things that we're not ready to. We're still working with some other things to help, but we think that the people that we're working on, Jen, her husband works with us, her mom works with us, so we have a for about a month, since a month, a new person has come to work with us. Crystal came, so we're things are we're getting a lot of resources to help for people. So it's good.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, can I just ask, how long has it been since you've had your stroke?
I had a stroke 5.5 years ago.
So
So it
in
was
5.5 years, yep.
yes, yep, yeah, yeah. It was like when I started Poems and Speech, uh, I I actually called Paul Cummings. Paul
Okay, yep.
Cummings. I
Mhm.
called him and talked to him about the. I said, I'm thinking about doing this, and I'm thinking, and he's like, I think, he really encouraged me. I think that it's just, I kept thinking, why, how can I do stuff like this when I can hardly even speak, you know? So, but, you know, after, almost 3 years now, things are getting better. I would like to
Mhm.
still get better. So, but yeah,
And I think that's some
good.
really great advice there to um, people that are listening in, is that you can always keep improving. You keep at it, you keep improving. When you're going through it in the early days, um, it can seem really challenging, but you just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, and things can improve and get better with time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's amazing that in 5.5 years, like we're having a conversation on Zoom, you're doing this amazing work for Poems in Speech. You've created the Mid-Atlantic Aphasia Conference. I mean,
Yes.
who would have thought 5.5 years ago that this is where you would be?
Yeah, I would never think that. But so it's I guess I was a teacher, so you know, it was you know, I always wanted to help. I always wanted to help, but I think that it like I would love to go back to work, but they there's no way there's no way I could do what I used to do. But I'm still I'm using a lot of it that we're doing, you know.
Yeah, you're definitely living with purpose, just in a different, meaningful way.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap up soon, but I just thought before we do, is there any advice that you have for anybody starting out on their stroke recovery journey, in particular people who have visual field or aphasia?
Well, but it early in my stroke, I was I kept saying, "This is not my time. It's not my time. I'm going to uh, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get stronger, uh, but uh, I'm not going to uh, give up. I'm going to, you know, do do something." And uh, so if new people that have a stroke, you know, you it's hard to get back into things that you would do, but find something that would give you to energize you in for the things that you would that you would love to do. So it might be a different way, but you'll find another purpose. Uh, but uh, just if it's a new stroke, uh, it just when I say it's not your time, I mean you're still here, but you need some time to get better and to know what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I love that advice. That's very, very valuable advice. So thank you. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your stroke experiences and letting us know all of the great things that you've been doing post-stroke. It's just so great to have the space that you've created, Poems in Speech. So for anybody who's listening in, you can contact Mark Harder from Poems in Speech. His email address is mark, M-A-R-K, at poemsinspeech.com. So you can get in contact with him and join his inspiring group of aphasia recovery. So thank you, Mark. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate and enjoyed our chat today. Thank you.
You're welcome.